I'm backing up my truck, I'm gonna hook it up, loading up my boat with all my gear. I've been working hard all week, trying to make ends meet, spending time wishing I was fishing. Well, Terry Wickstrom wants to take you fishing. Gather up your gear and come along. Well, Terry Wickstrom wants to take you fishing.
This is Terry Wickstrom. Join Karen Cullum, Greg Claggio, and me as we take you to some of our favorite fishing spots from Colorado to Minnesota, the Arctic Circle to Central America and beyond, as we revisit episodes of Mountain States Fishing and Angling Adventures Television on the best of fishing with Terry Wickstrom.
Hey, we're up here today at Sylvan Lake State Park, being joined by somebody you've seen on the show before, Dave Rasmussen. Hey, Dave.
Howdy.
Good to fish with you. You know, it's really funny because by the time this airs, we've already fished in Wisconsin together, and we're probably going to fish in the Bahamas together. We both live in Colorado. We're good friends. Dave is an avid fisherman, travels North America, does a lot of fly fishing and other types of fishing. And this will be the first time we fish in Colorado together, even though we both live here. So it's kind of unusual, but it's good to have you with. We're up here at Sylvan Lake Park. It's Saturday afternoon. We drove up after the radio show. We're probably not going to do too much fishing today. We may try to get out there a little bit because it kind of beckons at you. But the camera crew's got to get the scenery done. We're going to interview the ranger, but I'm excited. This looks like a great place.
Yeah, it does. You know, there's a little bit of surface activity out there now. You know, I don't know if that we'll get an opportunity to fish dries on the lake, but hopefully before the weekend's over, we'll be able to do that at least somewhere.
Well, you know what I really love about this place? First of all, we're going to be staying in one of the state park's cabins. You came up with your camper.
Correct.
It just shows you. What do you think of the campgrounds?
Campgrounds are extremely clean, well kept. I mean, they keep making rounds, picking the garbage up and keeping things tip-top. So,
And what a view.
Yeah, it is. It's gorgeous.
And I'm going to be staying in one of the cabins at State Parks. It's only like $60 a night. We're going to stay there. We're going to do some scenery, maybe get a little fishing in today. We're going to get out tomorrow. But the diversity of fishing here is what's got me excited. There's a great population of rainbows, browns, and brook trout. Now, part of the river is shut off at the inlet coming in here, so we may have trouble catching brook trout. They're back up there spawning, but we should do well on rainbows. Hopefully we'll pick up some brook trout. I'd really like because when they're spawning to catch one. And then maybe some browns in the lake. And then we'd like to show you also the river. In addition to the lake, there's Creek or creek? Well, we're going to argue about that the whole show. But let me tell you, there's two small rivers, creeks, that run back. There's Bush Creek and East Bush, I believe is what they are. And one is full of brook trout, one's full of browns. Hopefully we're going to go out in the lake tomorrow morning, fish it for a while, and then get out in the creek and fish it for a while and show you some of that. But also the lake itself offers great diversity. You can fish it with spinning gear, you can fish it with bait, you can fish it with fly rods. We're going to try to do some of all of that so we can show you what's going on up here. We're going to probably fish it from float tubes. But you can, there's paddle boats you can rent, and canoes here. You can bring your own boat up as long as it's electric or hand propelled. And well, you're going to see lots of people fishing from shore. Just down there, I saw some people, a guy in a wheelchair out there fishing. They caught like 6 rainbows. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be a great time.
So, you know, just join us for this weekend and see what it's like to stay at Sylvan Lake State Park and the cabins and just enjoy the great diversity and the gorgeous scenery up here. Well, we're up at Sylvan Lake. I'm with Doug Sechrist, the park manager. Doug, I want to thank you for inviting us up to your place. It's really beautiful up here.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad to have you.
You've been on the radio show a number of times talking about it. You called me so much I finally had to come up and fish it, you know.
There you go.
And it really does live up to expectations. You described the beauty. We're up here in first part of October. In fact, it's what, October 2nd today? And as you look down, we'll show you this view later. You can see the golden aspens and the little bit of snow on top of the mountain in the back, and it's just really a great facility. But I want to, you know, have you describe what you have up here to folks a little bit and might be interested in coming up. We've done it on the radio several times, and you know, you're going to see us fishing and catching the different species of fish. Well, we can talk about the fishing first. There's brown trout, and there's brook trout and rainbows, and you said maybe some cutbows or cutthroats?
Yeah, we've heard reports that there might be cutbows in there as well.
And what size fish can people expect to catch up here?
Well, that's kind of the interesting thing. I mean, we get stocked regularly, so it's not uncommon to catch stock rainbow out at the lake. But the lake itself is a great fishery for brook trout, and it has a great food source up there. And so some of the brook trout that are up there usually go 14, sometimes 16 inches.
Well, I got to admit that one of the reasons I came up here this time of the year was hoping to get into a male large brook trout in its fall colors, because I think they're the most beautiful fish in the world. If you hand painted one, it wouldn't look that good. And you show people a picture one, they don't believe it's a real fish. They really are something.
That's true. There's some great colors in those fish.
But we really wanted to highlight the park's cabin and yurt system. Now, you've got great campgrounds here. How many campsites do you have?
We've got 46 campsites.
And those are open, some of those are open year-round?
Well, we try to keep one of the lower loops open year-round for the people that want to come up to camp during the wintertime. But the main portion of the campground kind of gets shut down by itself because we get quite a bit of snow up here.
All right. Bob, you have great ice fishing, though, but we talks about the snow, so it's worth coming up in the winter, and we're not going to do much about that today. But when you get out in these campgrounds, you got, do the campsites have full hookups, or are they primitive?
They're basic campsites. We have water available in the campground, and we have a camper services building. And that camper services building has hot showers and flush toilets. But we also have vault toilets in the area as well.
All right, and what you're going to see us today, we're actually staying in the cabins from the cabin and yurt system, which I think, I've been a big proponent of it. You've heard me talk about it on the radio. You've seen it featured on some other television shows. I think it's just such a great thing that the state parks has done, building these cabins and yurts. How many cabins do you have here? Now, by the time this airs, you've got one being built right now, so.
One's under construction right now, and that's going to be a larger cabin. And that'll be a full-service cabin. That'll have a full kitchen, full bathroom, and it'll accommodate up to 12 people. And then in addition to that, we also have some smaller cabins that are nearby. And those cabins will accommodate up to 6 people.
And that's what we're staying in, a cabin that will sleep 6 people. And it's a basic cabin. It's one room with some furniture, but they're really nice inside, as you'll see. And they have beds and a table, right, and some of them have a couch. I think the furnishing varies a little bit from cabin to cabin, but you can see the inside of them if you go on the website, I believe.
You sure can. We have some pictures of those.
And they're inexpensive. $60 a night for a cabin that sleeps 6 people.
That's true.
I mean, you come up here with a group of people, you're $10, $15 a piece. Now, there's no cooking or running water in the cabins except for the new one you're building.
That's correct.
But most of these cabins, and the yurts too, they've got propane heat, so every time of the year you come up, they're comfortable, but you go to the buildings for restroom facilities and you can haul water in containers from the water at the park.
That's right. We have water available nearby.
And the cooking facilities are a fire ring, but you can bring a camp stove or something like that.
Right, and we encourage people to bring like a Coleman stove or a gas stove just because you don't know what the weather's going to do.
Well, I don't know how many times I've had people tell me, I love to go up, I love to camp, but I just can't do it in a tent anymore. Or they don't have an RV, which they have to pull, or maybe they don't have a tent or an RV and they'd love to go camping and take the family or friends, or fishing or hunting or ice fishing or snowshoeing or cross-country skiing. And this cabin and yurt system that the state parks provides really lends itself to that incredibly well.
It really does. I mean, we're kind of a full-service park up here. We've got a lot of activity during the wintertime. We've got activity in the fall. And it's just a great base of operations for people that want to come to visit the Eagle Valley area.
And I mentioned the yurts, and people are going to say, yurts, what's a yurt?
Right.
So tell them a little bit about what a yurt is.
Well, a yurt's kind of a unique structure. I guess it has its origins back in Mongolia, and it's a kind of a tent that the nomadic tribes in Mongolia used to use, and I think in some cases still do. But basically, it's kind of a round, rigid-walled tent that has windows and doors. And we've got 3 of them located up here at the park. And each of those yurts have bunk bed facilities, propane heaters, tables and chairs, and wood floors, and they're really kind of nice units.
And what do those go for? What's the price on the yurts?
Same as a small cabin. Those are $60 a night.
And how many will those sleep?
Those will accommodate up to 6 people.
Also, and those also have furniture in them. They have cots or beds and couches and tables.
That's right. We have bunk beds and then also futon couches.
Right. So, we're going to get out. You're going to see the inside of all these. I want to get fishing, but before we go, we should tell them a little bit about this visitor center. What a beautiful building up here. What all you have available here? You've got the interpretive things that talk about the park and books for sale.
Right. Our visitor center is really kind of the focus of the park. It's right at the entrance of the area when you approach, and we do have a books sales office here for buying some nature books, but it also provides a little bit of an overview of just what this park and this area is all about through our interpretive displays for environmental education and just what you can do and see.
Well, it's beautiful in here, and the view from here is spectacular. We wanted to shoot with us sitting in front of this window, but the lighting wasn't right. But we'll give you a view of this. The view out this, it's just incredible. You look down the valley and the little bit of snow on the mountain, the aspens are gold. What a great time to come up here. Is there a time it's not beautiful up here?
There really isn't. I mean, it just kind of depends on the day. There's something new every day that you come up here.
Well, we need to get out and experience some of the fishing and show you more of the Sylvan Lake State Park.
Look forward to seeing you.
All right, fish on the fly rod. Started out a little slow, but the sun has finally warmed things up. Got my sinking line with a woolly bugger and a little midge nymph behind it, because last night there were all kind of midges coming off. And so I got to be careful because I got that little midge on 6X tippet, so I don't know what I've got him hooked on, so I really got to baby him in. I can't put a lot of pressure. There's a channel that runs through the middle of Sylvan Lake here, and what we've been doing is we had trouble. The shoreline probably gets a little more pressure. People were catching a lot of fish, but I got this woolly bugger down in that channel, and once I got it down there and slowly worked it, I was able to hook up, and it's another nice, unhooked right there. Oh, but I had him on, you got to see him. Nice rainbow, about 12, 14 inches, and hooked up on the woolly bugger, so I could have put a little more pressure on him, but you know, if we weren't filming, I wouldn't be quite so careful because I try to get him in to let you folks see him, but just to hook up and get him like that is so much fun. Well, I'm gonna go back and get another one. You know, we've been fishing mostly with fly rods because it's just fun to float out here, and it's just great to try to catch these different species, both on a dry fly and on a nymph. But you don't have to be a fly fisherman to come out here. I've switched to a spinning rod, and I'm trying different types of spinners, like little panther martins and meps and rooster tails will work just great. You can flies. We're here in the fall. It's I think it's like the 3rd of October today. And it's just beautiful, and a lot of the brook trout and the brown trout have actually moved down to the inlet to spawn, and some of that's restricted. We're probably going to move down there and try to get some of those. We expect to catch mostly rainbows in the middle of the lake, but during the summer you can catch brooks and browns here and some nice brook trout. I mean, brook trout up to 15, 16 inches. And you know, if you're a fly fisherman, it's just heaven. You've got this lake where you can catch them surface, subsurface, and in these 2 rivers, Brush Creek and East Brush Creek, I believe it is. One's full of browns, one full of brook trouts. We're going to try to fish some of those if we have enough time today. And if you're not a fly fisherman, you can come. I watched people yesterday with power bait offshore catch 6, 8 fish right there in a short period of time. And it's a stock type lake, so it's okay to harvest a few. The big brooks and the big browns, though, put back because they're just so good. But you can use spinning equipment too, even in a float tube, or you can take a small john boat and a canoe. They allow electric motors, and they also allow any hand-propelled craft. You can't use combustible motors out here, but you can put a john boat or a canoe out here. In fact, they rent paddle boats and canoes, so it's really nice. And they now have a big day use area too that we'll show you, so you don't have to come up here just to camp. There's a big day use area you can park in, come up here, just fish for the day. It's only a little over 2 hours from the Front Range, and it's just so gorgeous here. If you look out right now, I've got the gold here, little snow peak there. It's just awesome. All right, on the spinning rod, little rainbow. You know, we're fly fishing out here and we're trying different types. The neat thing about Sylvan Lake is that you can fish it in so many ways. It's a nice little rainbow. I don't want to lose it because I've just got a little spinner on here and he could jump, and I want to show you how nice the fish are here. But we'll get him in. Get him on my net. Come here, we're going to let you go. All right. Oh, beautiful fish. That's a nice fish. Nice fish. And one of the neat things about Sylvan Lake is that you can fish it in a number of ways. It can be fished from shore using like power bait. It can be fished with fly rods, both in the lake and the river. And you can fish it with spinners from shore out here in a float tube. I had a little rooster tail spinner on, a chartreuse one. We're using flies with woolly buggers. Beautiful, beautiful rainbow trout. It's about, well, that's about a 12, 14 incher, just a nice solid fish. You're allowed to keep some of these here if you want because they do stock it. We're going to let them go, but just nice fish. And there he goes. He'll be here for you to catch when you come. All right, Dave. What'd you hook him up on?
It's either a black woolly bugger or a black woolly bugger.
You got 2 black woolly buggers. Yeah. That's what I'm fishing with too.
Yeah,
that's what I
don't think it's a very big fish, but
I had mine on a black woolly bugger too that came on the fly. You know, the spinning rods have really been effective today, but coming up. All right.
Well, actually, it's a little better fish than I thought.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's a rainbow.
You know, we've been trying to get more on the fly, but the spinning rod's been so successful, I've had trouble staying with it. But that's your second hookup on a black woolly bugger. Good job. But floating out here in these pontoon and belly boats like this and catching fish, is this a great setting or what?
Oh, it's just beautiful.
This is your first time at Sylvan Lake. What do you think of it?
Oh, it's great. You know, it's you take a look and all the families hiking around the lake. There's something pretty much for everybody to do.
It really is just an awesome, beautiful place. And you're right, and there's something for every, there's hiking, there's you know, wildlife, and as far as there's cabins and camping, and as far as the fishing, there's types of fishing for everybody.
Here, I'll get some fish slop on me, see if we can get a little look at them. That's a nice rainbow. Probably about 13 inches or so.
And they're good, healthy fish, aren't they?
You bet. They
really
fight
put
good.
up a nice fight.
You know, it's not wimpy fish.
No. I tell you what, I just hooked into about an 18-inch brown. The camera wasn't running. And there's fish just stacked in here. I tried to play it slow till we get the camera ready so you could see it, and it came off, but what a fish. There are some gorgeous fish in this lake. I'll tell you what, I'm fishing a woolly bugger on sinking line. I can see the fish stacked up. We're close to the inlet. The inlet here is out of bounds during the spawn, but I thought there might be some fish stacked up just outside of it, and there are. And I hooked into just a beautiful, beautiful brown. Had this rod bent over double, but played him slow, waiting for the camera, and lost him, but they're here. Trust me, if you come up to Sylvan Lake, there's a chance at a big brown or a really nice brookie too. All right, well, we were at the lake most of the morning, and we caught a lot of fish and had fun. Although you caught most of them on a fly, I lost them. I caught some spinning, but it's a beautiful lake, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is.
I just loved it. But we want to show you the river. So we're down here, and we can't go to the inlet side because the fisher spawning is shut down. So we're on the outlet side of the lake, below the dam. There's a tremendous number of beaver ponds here. We're hoping to pick up some browns or brook trout in these beaver ponds. And so, Dave, what do you think here?
Well, what I'd like to do is try to, and I'm not sure if it's too mucky on the bottom, but I'd like to kind of weasel my way down to the bottom of the beaver dam and actually cast up above the beaver dam. There were some fish rising just above the beaver dam, and I saw 3 or 4 fish that were rising. So throw either terrestrials at them, because they should still be feeding on terrestrials, or possibly I've got a real tiny little midge pattern on, and I'll try to pick one up on a dry fly.
So he's got a little midge pattern. I've got a grasshopper, hoping even if there aren't grasshoppers falling in, it's fall. They should remember that they've been seeing grasshoppers on the surface. Sure. Dave's a better caster than me. I'm not going to, so we're going to sneak around here, let him have first shot with that small one. In addition, the grasshopper I'm throwing is bigger. Might spook them if they don't catch them. So we'll try the little midge. And then we're going to try the grasshopper and see if we can show you some of the fish that are in these beaver ponds through this river system or through Brush Creek. So let's go see if we can get these.
You might end up in the mud here. There we go.
Hooked up. All right, Dave. All right. Good job. Oh, what is it? What is that? I couldn't see. Brookie, female brookie?
Yep, looks like it.
Oh, nice brookie. Oh, awesome.
Actually, it might be.
It's a female, so it doesn't have the colors. Oh, is it a brown?
It's a brown.
It's a brown.
It's actually a pretty nice brown.
Nice brown.
See if
All right, Dave.
I'm falling in.
Awesome job. Awesome job.
Pretty close to maybe 11 inches, 10, 11 inches.
That's a nice brown. Oh, I love the colors on those. What'd you catch it on?
That very, very, like a size 22 midge pattern.
I'm going to try to put my hopper in there. It's probably too big, but I'm going to try to put it over there as long as you're out of there and see if they'll take a look at it. You know, we're standing here right on the beaver dam casting into this creek, and it's kind of precarious. You got to be careful for a couple different reasons. One is these sticks can puncture your waders in a hurry.
Oh yeah.
And the other thing is the footing isn't the best, but you know, once you get positioned, you can cover a nice part of the pond, see where the fish are active, take 2 or 3 fish, then move on to another spot.
Come on, baby. There we go.
Another one on?
Yeah, this is a little one.
You know, I just tied on another hopper after I broke off. But you're going to convince me to go to a midge here in a minute.
I don't share my midges.
I've got some of my own.
A dry midge? Do you have like a Griffith's gnat?
Yeah, I've got dry midges. But I'm going to stay with the hopper for a while. Another brown, I think. Oh, these are nice fish. These aren't your typical beaver pond fish, Dave. These are nice fish. Oh, look at the colors. I hope the camera can zoom in on that. This is just a beautiful brown. It's just awesome.
But it's a nice little brown. Again on very, very small, size 22 midge.
I'm fishing a hopper and I haven't got a bite yet, so I may have to switch. I'm being stubborn right now because I just want to catch one on a hopper, but I'm going to have to give in and go to a midge here pretty soon. You know, whether I'm fishing a river in Colorado or the flats off the Florida Keys, one of my most important accessories are my HaberVision polarized sunglasses. Not only do they allow me to see into the water, see the fish, but they protect my eyes from the intense UV. HaberVision makes great high-end polarized sunglasses for men and women, and you can avoid the typical retail markup for high-end glasses by logging on to habervision.com and using the member code FISHTECH.
I'm still trying to tie my fly on.
I can't get him to stop fishing. I tell you what, folks, we're running out of time. We came up here to Sylvan Lake. We came last night. We didn't really fish yesterday. What you saw today was us out in the float tubes on the lake this morning and then fishing the river. What a great place, hey Dave?
Well, it is. It's fantastic. I mean, there's a little bit of everything. You fish the streams, the beaver ponds, or up on the lake and do the float tubing and kick boats, and it pretty much has everything. And this time of year, it's great because there's not a ton of people as well.
And we caught lots of rainbows. We caught some nice browns. We saw some incredible brook trout. It's just got a good diversity of fish and a diversity of way to fish. I hope you enjoyed coming up here with us. Dave, thanks for fishing with me today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You bet. And hope you folks enjoyed it. And join us next week on Mountain States Fishing. Hopefully we won't spook them too much. But look at the colors. Look at the beautiful, beautiful colors of these fish. Is that awesome or what? Look at them swimming in there. Now we're in a part of the river that's restricted to fishing right now. We're in the inlet where the brookies and the browns are going to spawn. So we can't fish for these fish right now, and it's just as well.